It started with a conversation with Carmen, who was a woman who would clean my house a couple of times a month. Honestly, she was trying to figure out what was wrong with me because I had been married at the time 7 years, Latina, and no children. And I seemed like a perfectly nice person, but to her, all of this added up to that there was some horrible monster lurking within. And so finally one morning, she popped the question, Missy Sonia, ¿cuándo va a tener un baby? When are you going to have a child? I didn't want to answer, so I asked her, what about you? And I thought she only had one young son. And when I asked her that question, she went silent and started sobbing in my kitchen. And she told me of these 4 children she had left behind in Guatemala. She said, I'm a single mother. My husband, he left me for another woman, and most days I could feed my children once, sometimes twice, but at night they would start crying with hunger, and I had nothing to give them. And she showed me, I remember in my kitchen, how she would coax her kids to roll over in bed at night and say to them, sleep face down so that your stomach doesn't growl so much. She said she had left them in Guatemala with a grandmother, come to work in the United States. And she hadn't seen her children in 12 years. And I was just stunned by this. I couldn't understand what level of desperation it would take for a mother to walk away from her children. And my house cleaner had no idea when or if she was ever going to see her children again. And what I learned was that her story was incredibly common, that there are millions of single mothers who have come to the United States, left children behind in their home countries, thinking it would be a separation of 1-2 years. Those separations stretch into 5 or 10 years typically, because life here is a lot harder than they think it's going to be. And these children despair and set off to find their mothers after not seeing them for so long. And so that was the story I told of this modern day odyssey these children go on to come in search of their mothers. And they're coming by the hundreds of thousands every year, children coming from Mexico, Central America, without any parent by their side, entering the United States unlawfully.